Nel 2023 una delle notizie che ha circolato di più nell'ambito della salute in questi argomenti è stata sicuramente la storia dell'imprenditore americano che spende milioni di dollari ogni anno per, a seconda di come i giornalisti vogliono dipingere la notizia, non invecchiare mai, sembrare più giovane, invecchiare al contrario e altre cose di questo genere. Avendola vista e avendola letta più e più volte, ho deciso di fare l'unica cosa che andrebbe fatta in realtà in questi casi, che non è commentare a caso senza documentarsi, ma di approfondire e documentarmi su com'era effettivamente la storia. E così facendo ho scoperto che la storia di Bryan Johnson, questo è il nome della persona, era molto interessante dal punto di vista della salute. Perché? Perché l'obiettivo di Bryan è quello di costruire la vita più lunga e più in salute possibile, fare tutto ciò che è umanamente possibile fare per avere la vita più lunga e più in salute possibile, e non è un obiettivo da poco. E la cosa mi ha molto interessato anche dal punto di vista professionale, perché ho subito capito che in realtà la sua battaglia era una battaglia, un viaggio per ridurre il più possibile il suo stato infiammatorio, perché il nostro stato infiammatorio di base aumenta con l'andare dell'età. L'età può essere considerata un aumento dei processi infiammatori, quindi il peggioramento della salute è molto legato a quello, e quindi ho pensato che sarebbe molto interessante sentire l'opinione, prendere qualche spunto dalla persona che sta facendo tutto ciò che è possibile fare per ridurre questa condizione. E siccome molto spesso i migliori spunti, le migliori conoscenze si ottengono proprio da queste persone che stanno mettendo tutto il possibile in prima persona, provando in prima persona con lo scopo di raggiungere un determinato obiettivo, ho pensato che mi sarebbe piaciuto molto intervistarlo, e così ho chiesto se a lui se era possibile intervistarlo e condividere come sta facendo con un po' tutto il mondo, condividere alcuni spunti con la mia audience. Lui ha accettato, sono stato veramente molto felice di questo, ed è quindi per questo che ho il piacere di presentarvi la mia intervista con lui. Hi Bryan, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Hi. So, first of all, first thing that I want to put clear, first of all, excuse if my English is not as good as I would like to be, so I apologize also with the audience if I make some mistakes, please excuse me. But the first thing that I would like to be clear on is that everybody is clickbaiting with fancy headlines your story, that you try to buy something that money can buy. Everybody's clickbaiting the 2 million per year story for the eternal youthness. But your story is much different, in my opinion. So you're actually trying to find the best way to live the longest life and the healthiest life. Am I right on this?
That's right. Yeah, that intelligence has reached a point where, for the first time in history, we can say with a straight face, don't die. Death has always been inevitable, and at the pace in which AI is progressing, we just don't know how well and how long we can live. And so the objective has moved away from games like status, power, inevitable death to don't die.
Okay, sounds great. And for me, your story is particularly fascinating because you're actually fighting against inflammation, because we know that inflammation increases with aging. And so with fighting and decreasing your speed of aging, you're actually fighting inflammation. Am I right on this?
Yeah, that's correct. I have basically no detectable inflammation in my body.
Okay, and that was the question, because inflammation is something that is very, and tell me if you agree with me with this, is very difficult to measure, because you don't have one single value that tells you how much you are inflamed. So, as the most measured person, human being in human history, how do you measure inflammation?
We use a few measures. High sensitivity CRP is a primary one.
Okay. And for me, and I would love to say to hear your opinion. For me, one great measure of inflammation is how much you feel tired and how much you feel sick Did you notice in your journey an increase in your energy level?
Yes, I've never had more energy in my life, and I also, since starting Blueprint, have not been sick.
Okay, okay. So you measure inflammation with high sensitive CRP and no other variables and no other parameters?
We're looking at quite a few. For example, my speed of aging is an important one because that's kind of a cumulative marker looking at all kinds of things in my body. My recent score was 0.71. That means I'm aging slower than roughly 87% or so of the average 18-year-olds.
And that's great. And I think you also feel great, not just aging slower, but you feel great in this journey, isn't it?
I've never felt better in my entire life.
Okay, so of course you and your team are studying all the evidence about nutrition, workout, you're trying to do all the best that you can possibly do. And above all, you're sharing your journey with everyone, which is amazing for me, and that's why I wanted you here. And so as a person who is trying to do the best that he can do, what can you say about nutrition? So what are your key takeaways? Of course, I know that your blueprint doesn't actually cost 2 million a year, but you're actually, that the vast majority of this money is spent on testing. If I wanted to be on your blueprint, the amount of money that I would spend, if I heard right in another video of yours, is 1,500 about, which is a good amount of money here in Italy, but it's far from the 2 millions. So what are your key takeaways about nutrition for standard people?
My team and I have worked over the past 3 years to try and create a perfect diet. It's not to say it's the only diet. It's meant to say that we iterated every single calorie. Every calorie had to fight for its life. And all the recipes are on my website. And so the thing that I was trying to solve for is, when you go out and try to learn what to do, every scientist, blogger, health enthusiast has a different opinion about different things. And it's very, very hard to know what to do. Like my parents, they don't care about the scientific debate. They just want to know what to eat for breakfast. And so what I tried to do is solve the very simple question. If you're interested in health and wellness, I've designed a diet for you. You can eat for $1,000 a month at your local grocery store. And I think it's the best diet in the world. And the invitation would be for someone else to prove me wrong with their data.
Okay, I know that you're vegan by choice, but not because it's the best thing that you can do for your health and your inflammation.
It's pretty hard to achieve better markers. I mean, yeah.
And that's a great point. So, in your opinion, for what you've measured, being vegan is great for your health and your inflammation. Because you're measuring everything, so you're right.
Well, yeah, this is the thing I'm trying to get at is if someone's saying, do I eat meat or not? And they have these preconceived notions, I'm an example to look at that you can follow my protocol exactly if you want to be a vegan. Now, again, you can add some meat to the protocol, that's fine. But I'm basically trying to say you can be in caloric restriction and vegan and have high rates of exercise and achieve the markers I have where I'm, in the 99th percentile in so many of these categories.
Great. And speaking about workout, which is something that I'm particularly interested in. So I saw the video, which is public on YouTube, about your workout. And how did you find evidences about workout? Because you work out specifically for achieving maximum health and decreasing speed of aging. What are your key takeaways or the characteristics of your workout?
I try to... Go ahead.
So I saw your exercises and they seem to me pretty standard exercises. So I was wondering what's the science, what's the theory behind that kind of protocol?
The evidence behind exercise is pretty simple. It's 6 hours of exercise per week, and it's 4.5 hours in zone 2 through 4, and then 90 minutes in zone 5. And that's what I do every week. You can't do too much. You can do too much, and you can't do too little. So really, it's an hour a day in the gym for me, and I've tried to flex and stretch every muscle of my body. People get extremely into fitness and certain exercises and muscles and groups, but I really focus on joints and stability and overall flexibility. And that's allowed me to achieve, in the top 1.5% of 18-year-olds in my cardiovascular capacity. I'm the top 0.02 percentile for my total bone mineral density of 30-year-olds. So the markers support that what I'm doing is working across every marker of physical fitness.
So you don't work too much, because working out too much would actually increase your speed of aging, your catabolism, and your inflammation. Am I right in this?
That's right. Everything in the appropriate amount. And that's including the supplements, the food, the sleep, the exercise. Everything is perfectly dosed to try to achieve these markers. And that's what we've tried to be useful to the world, to say, here's an exact protocol to start with. Now, if you want to change it to accommodate your lifestyle or this or that, fine. But I want to give you what I think is the best health protocol built in history as your starting point.
Okay, and as a physical therapist, I am particularly interested in the chronic pain and, of course, posture topics. So I know you keep on making, and you made some workout on your posture. Do you think that that kind of workout, that kind of exercises improved your health as well? Or do you think that the posture exercise are important for longevity, for overall health?
The gentleman I work with for my posture has a theory, though not backed by science, that cognitive health is deeply integrated with posture, and specifically the blood flow to and from the brain.
So that's a great topic for me, because there is a great discussion in this. So you actually measure your blood flow on your brain before and after.
Exactly right.
And you find out that?
Yeah, we did an extensive measurement of my brain with MRI. We did ultrasound on my jugular veins. So we looked at the entire anatomy of my blood flow and brain structure with various imaging modalities, and we saw dramatic improvement in my brain with the change of posture.
And how different do you feel after this kind of work? Do you think that this kind of work actually improved your mental health?
It did, and not just subjectively me reporting it, but quantitatively, as we can see on imaging.
Okay, so there is actually imaging changes in the MRI in your blood flow. So that's amazing.
Yeah, even on one marker of my brain, white matter hyperintensities, my age biomarker reduced by 9 years. So I reversed my brain age via white matter hyperintensities measured by MRI by 9 years by the change of my posture.
Wow, that's amazing. So these were the questions I wanted to ask you, because I am particularly passionate in your journey. So to reach the end of this interview, and I thank you again, how much better, the final question is, how much better do you feel right now, thinking about how did you feel when you started your journey? Because I think that you started this journey because you didn't feel good. Nobody starts a complicated journey like this without having the feeling of being sick, tired. So what are your feelings now? Do you ever want to go back to the old habits because this kind of lifestyle is too much work or too much effort? Or the benefits that you are achieving?
This reminds me of when people ask me about cheat days. They imagine that I want to eat a donut or pizza or drink alcohol. I don't.
You don't?
And that is also true. I don't want to do less on my health and wellness. I feel amazing. And when I do unhealthy things, I feel terrible, and I don't want to feel terrible. And a lot of people, I was this way before, where I felt miserable all the time. And so when I did something that made me feel more miserable, it's like, okay, whatever. I just feel miserable a little bit worse. But now the difference is so striking. I just can't bring myself to do it.
Okay, so it's no more an effort to follow your blueprint because the benefits that you are receiving are way superior than your efforts.
Yeah, exactly. It's changed. Yep.
Okay, Bryan, so thank you that much for being with me. I'll leave your websites and your blueprint, everything that people can reach out to know more about your blueprint and about what you do, which is not that I find out that what you actually do is not that complicated because you have a very complicated way of measure what you do, but what you actually do is not that complicated. So it is something that is doable for many people.
That's right. It absolutely is.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for everything you do. And thank you for being with me. Thank you, Bryan.
Good to see you, friend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi. Bene, allora spero che questa intervista vi sia piaciuta, sia stata interessante e sono sicuro che molte persone magari stanno pensando, beh, ma è del tutto esagerato, cioè io preferisco vivere normalmente piuttosto morirò prima e cose di questo genere, che è un po' l'obiezione che viene fatta a tutti coloro che si prendono cura di se stessi, perché vengono spesso visti come degli esagerati, dei fanatici, ma insomma goditi un po' la vita, senza capire che per loro in realtà, e mi ci metto anch'io dentro queste persone, lo stare bene è realmente il godersi la vita. Ecco, per sottolineare questo voglio leggere una cosa che Bryan ha scritto sul suo profilo Instagram qualche tempo fa. Sentite qua. La morte era il mio unico pensiero, è stata il mio unico pensiero per 10 anni. La depressione mi ha preso in una morsa completamente impossibile da rompere. Oggi ringrazio di avere una insaziabile sete per la vita. Ecco che cosa può fare il non sentirsi bene ed ecco dove può portare un viaggio fatto specificamente per sentirsi bene. Il suo viaggio può essere più o meno condiviso, ma l'importante secondo me è che ognuno di noi trovi il modo per stare il meglio possibile, al ritmo che vuole, con le modalità che vuole, ma l'obiettivo sia veramente quello di stare il meglio possibile, il più a lungo possibile. A questo punto non posso fare altro che augurare un buon percorso a tutti.